ready.
It's a good day coming.
How do you translate that? How do you calculate? I don't know.
Sweet like honey.
It didn't explode!
We're gonna stress test everything and just see how much the system can handle and to see how close to 50 amp it really feels.
It was like it's nature.
A couple things I wanted to say before the big reveal. Number one, as far as the equipment, we purchased all of this equipment. We are not affiliated in any way. We went with Battleborn and Victron because it was recommended to us. Number two, we did work with Derek and Lacey of Cross Country, RV Tech, and Solar. Derek really wanted to show what he could do for anybody who's interested in the future. If you are interested, here's a couple great things. They travel the country, just get in touch with them. They could work out a time, maybe you guys cross paths somewhere, and they'd be able to work that out with you wherever you are, so you don't have to go to a specific location. The other thing is install prices vary based on the RV, how much stuff you're getting, how difficult it is to work with. Luckily with the fifth wheel, it wasn't super hard. Get in touch with them if you really want to know what it would cost for you if you're interested in a similar system.
Feeling alright. The world is changing right now, ready or not. Gonna take flight and reawaken the dreams I never forgot. Flipping the script today. I'm going all the way. It's about time. I'm done waiting. Sunshine coming in hot. It's a good day coming. It's a good day coming. It's a good day coming.
I love the overall look of the system. I think it turned out really well. I was quite meticulous about this part, and Derek was really patient with me. We took cardboard cutouts and we moved them all over the place and tried out a whole bunch of different positions and finally decided upon this, and I think it turned out really nice. So starting up here in the top right is the solar controller. We have 4 panels on the roof for 1,550 watts of power. We actually have room for 4 more panels of about 800 watts given the footprint size that we have available. So we pre-wired them for another set of panels if we want to add later on, and if we need to add another solar controller, we'll just put it up here as to not mess with the overall aesthetic, because the aesthetic comes first. What is it? I think it's modernism, form before function. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, form before function. Moving down from the solar controller is the power in, the shunt, and the distributor. They do a lot of the connections for the solar stuff. I don't really know a whole lot of what they do, but what I do like is that they all connect to each other and they make this nice vertical line. Now these blue lines that are running from there are actually the positive. We decided to go against doing red and black because you can kind of tell what's positive, what's negative just by tracing the lines, so it's not really that important to have red lines. The red would have just thrown off the aesthetic. And form before function. Form before function. For the battery bank, we went with the new Gamechanger batteries from Battleborn. There's 3 of them here, and each of them are 270 amp hours each, so that puts us at a total of 810 amp hours right now. But we actually have room for 1 more that'll keep the balance, the aesthetic. Again, aesthetic. What's important here? Form before function. But we have space for 1 more battery, which will put us at 1,080 amp hours if we want to do that. As an insurance adjuster, it seems like every year I'm in an area that's just been hit by a catastrophe. There's no power, there's no real infrastructure for quite a while until they can get it rebuilt. So the choices are live off of a generator and be dependent on propane and gas, which is extremely difficult to get in those kind of areas, or be so far away that it takes such a long time to get to the spots that I need to be every day, and I'm spending hours in my vehicle driving back and forth. So we really wanted a sustainable system that felt as close to 50 amp as possible. In working with Derek and telling him about our power needs and what our situation is, he gave us 2 options. He gave us a single inverter option, but he did give us this 2 inverter option. And even though it's a little bit more expensive, we ultimately went that way. I'll be the first to admit, we really suck at power management when we're not on 50 amp. Every time we've been on the generator, we've been on 30 amp, we inevitably have the air conditioner running, somebody's making popcorn, I'm blow drying my hair, and we pop the breaker. It seems like clockwork every single time. While the goal is ultimately get better at power management, having the 2 inverters will make it feel as close to 50 amp as we could reasonably get. Now we're ready to stress test the system. We've got the first AC on. We're going to disconnect from 50 amp. We're going to turn on the generator. We're going to see what comes from that, see if we can recharge our batteries with both ACs running and the generator running. We're going to stress test everything and just see how much the system can handle and to see how close to 50 amp it really feels. Brady?
Yes.
We're ready to start stress testing. Are you good?
Yes.
Everything saved on your computer?
Yes.
Okay, we're starting now. Did your computer fall apart?
No, should it have?
No, it's fine.
It didn't explode!
We are running 414 watts of solar. We are using 1400 watts. So we are losing a bit out of the batteries. Also, one air conditioner is on. One. Yeah, the other one's off. And Brainy's computer is on. Those are the only major things on. The fridge is running in propane. Yes. Okay. Got it all established. I think we're good. Okay, this generator hasn't actually started in over a year, so it may not even start in the first place. Hopefully it will. Throw everything on, see what happens. Okay, so we'll force it to AC power. Okay. And the fireplace.
Oh man.
Yeah, who wouldn't turn the AC and the fireplace on at the same time? Okay, where's the switch?
I mean, what better temperature than 73 degrees to do that in? You
Yeah.
know?
Okay. So heat is on low right there.
The heat is on.
We'll just, okay, that tripped it. Is the EMS in bypass or is it normal?
Normal, but that.
But that, I know the EMS hates the generator. Apparently the EMS system hates the generator. That's what we've come up with now. So, I think what we're gonna need to do is just write down the process and we will just not use the surge protector thing, EMS thing, whatever those mean. This is the reason why we're doing it here while he's still here, putting an unrealistic load on it. I'm not running the heater and the air conditioners at the same time. That's sort of, I mean, you would.
I mean, you would.
Yes, but I wouldn't. And so we wanted to really try to stress it out, see what happens, so that way these kind of things happen when he's here and I'm not on the phone trying to understand what's happening, because it is French to me still is French to me after a week.
So you put your inverter to your exverter, you put the 6s and the 7s around like this, and then at the end of the day you're gonna get a 4. Am I right? High five. All
That's
right.
exactly right. Good job. Thank you for the information. So the last test I'm going to run with the generator is I want to know what the limit is that I can run the thing in eco mode so it's not running as hard, it's just kind of idling, and how that affects the whole system here. Because we're not getting a whole lot of solar right now. It's really cloudy and we're kind of under some trees, but if we were out in the open and actually getting really good solar, I don't think the generator would have to work very hard at all. But we're going to find out. Okay, see that says 62 watts. 62 watts are going in the battery. So, for dummy me, what that's saying is we're using a little less power than we are producing. It's starting to get it slowly, very slowly. I bet, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, rather than just pressing numbers around, we can find out what the eco mode runs at, how many watts that is. That would make more sense, I think. I don't know, because now I'm talking about watts. What happened to amps? Oh my God. Because this is restricting amps. Now I'm gonna look up the wattage output. That's what's so frustrating. The moment that I think, okay, I'm starting to get it, I'm like, oh, let me look up this number. It's like, oh no, that's a completely different number. How do you translate that? How do you calculate? I don't know. I don't know. Rainy, I don't know.
Look, I still don't know the difference between AC, DC, so.
Okay, all right, you're in like kindergarten, maybe preschool. I feel like I'm in like 3rd grade, maybe.
Wait, is that really what it's called?
What?
AC and DC?
Yes, alternating current and direct current. Yes, those are the two main sources.
Is that why the band is called AC/DC?
Oh my God, who are you? Back on this. Screw looking up the numbers. I'm just gonna press buttons. Nice. Well, I was hoping that was going to work out, but that's too wiggly, and most importantly, the brake light's covered up. So Gonna have to put it in the back of the truck. I'm disappointed as the original location was where all the batteries are at now, so it can't go back in there. But everything else went great. I'm actually really happy with how we tested everything out. I feel pretty confident overall in just button mashing. But we will continue to learn this over the next few weeks. Tonight will be the last test. I want to run everything overnight just on battery and see where we're at in the morning. Hey, look at that. It looks normal now. All right, so we've been off 50 amp for about 12 hours now. The first couple hours the AC did turn on and off, but it was so cool out I just ended up shutting it off because it was annoying and it was using unnecessary power. So we ended the night at about 75%. But what's interesting is now we're to the point where we're starting to produce more power than we actually need. So now we're gonna be charging, and I'm pretty confident we would be back up to 100% by noon. Maybe I found something to obsess more than I obsess about cleaning the truck. I have been neglecting the truck a little bit lately, and it's kind of sad. I feel bad for him. I still love you, Mad Mardigan. Good morning. 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 Good morning to you all. Derek and Lacey did a fantastic job, and I think Derek had to put up with a whole lot more of me than he should have. I was in the way, I asked a lot of questions, I know I distracted him a lot. So if you're interested in a solar system, reach out to them. It doesn't have to be anything of this size, it could be bigger, it can be smaller. They'll be able to work with you, figure out a size you need, and they'll come to you.
Derek, Lacey, thank you guys. Derek, you did good work.
Derek?
Appreciate you guys.
Lacey, you did good work.
What's that Instagram handle?
CCRV Tech and Solar.
Okay.
All right.
If you just Google us, you should find us.
Yeah.
That should come up.
I'll
And
put
if
all the links in the description.
Below.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
You did
thank you.
great. We appreciate it. This is going to change a lot for what we do. So,
Yeah, we got you plugged into nature.
all right. I like
love
it.
that.
Are you excited to be plugged into nature?
I'm plugged into nature.